Nuke is arguably the most balanced map in CS2 at the moment, and personally, my favorite map to play in Premier. And a big part of that is that it is probably the best map in terms of showing off skill expression when it comes to utility usage. There are so many different ways to approach the map on both sides, utilizing smokes, molotovs, grenades, and flashes to your advantage that you really don't see on a lot of the other maps. Compared to something like Inferno or Mirage, which are relatively solved in terms of what you're going to be using in terms of default utility, and there's just not nearly as much variety as compared to when you play Nuke, where there's a ton of setups for outside, there's a ton of setups for each bomb site, you get to really pick and choose how you play the map, and that's really fun to me. So today, we're going to focus on the A site. I'm going to show off some of my favorite setups on the T side to blow it up, take control, and win more rounds in your Nuke matches. My name is LionHeartZ, and if that interests you at all, make sure you take a second, leave a like, leave a comment down below, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. The majority of you who watch these videos are not already subscribed, so make sure you do that because it helps out immensely in the YouTube algorithm. And make sure you catch me streaming CS2 Premier every single night over on my Twitch channel starting between 8 and 8:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, linked down below. Let's get started. Okay, so before we start spraying utility everywhere, we gotta understand the key locations that the CTs are gonna sit and how we're going to wall off the A site to best fit our advantage when pushing the site. So the three most common positions the CTs will sit on the A site are up in heaven, on top of hut, and then down inside of the mini garage. Some secondary locations to keep in mind are on site behind the silo, up above hut in a spot called Mustang, and then kind of floating near hut around the boxes. That can also be where the mini player tends to stand. So when it comes to executing on the A site, we want to set up a few things. We mainly want to wall off mini as well as heaven with smoke grenades, try a molotov or otherwise nade out top of hut, and then expose with either flashbangs or other molotov support the players playing down on the floor of the site. The tricky part being that the A site is of course inside a building, so our opportunities to smoke outside of it are pretty limited, but that's where I've come up with two really amazing setups. One of them is my preferred setup for every single pistol round that I play on Nuke, and we're going to go over that now. So our goal here is to smoke heaven and molotov top hut while our teammates enter the site through hut and squeaky and take the fights with the players on the site floor. Once the site floor is taken, you can plant the bomb and smoke mini as needed for the post plant. So from spawn, what you're going to do is shoot out the roof windows on the right side of A site, go up the ladder, and line yourself on the right side of the ladder. Once you get to the top of the ladder, you're going to aim up between this pipe and the far off silo in the distance, and then it's going to be a running jump throw when your crosshair reaches the top of the roof in front of you. You then immediately backpedal back on top of that ladder, pull out the molotov, and what you're going to be aiming at is this white strip just above the concrete where my crosshair is pointed on screen. You're then going to run and jump throw when your crosshair hits the top of that concrete wall in front of you. Again, follow the guide on screen, give it a little bit of practice, it makes much more sense once you see it in game. And as you can see here, top hut is mollied, heaven is smoked. Your teammates can now duel for the site control while you jump into the lobby from the ladder and support them on the back end. Now what works so well about this execute in my opinion is the fact that it limits what your teammates have to look at. Normally if you don't do anything from the T-roof, an A site take could be quite chaotic because you need to get out on site, fight the guys that are on heaven and on site, smoke heaven and mini while you're on the site being pressured by the remaining CTs, and then get the bomb plant. That leaves a lot of room for error and for things to go wrong. You don't want to be throwing a smoke as you enter the bomb site, you want to have your gun out ready to swing. So by having that heaven smoke land as your players are entering the site, it leaves them open and ready for the duel. Now, I use this strat mainly for pistol rounds because it works so fast. You're on the site within the first 15 seconds of the round, and that's when you're most likely to face the majority of the CTs looking towards the A site, primarily with someone in heaven, in mini, and somewhere on the site. But the reality is for the CTs, the heaven player is one of the biggest rotators on that side of the map. They rotate to ramp, they rotate to hell to help outside, they rotate all the way to big garage sometimes. So when you play slower rounds on the T side, mainly on your full buys, that heaven player is in flux. You don't always know where he is, and sometimes you want to hit A later in the round, so I've augmented how I like to do that by using a different smoke set that prioritizes smoking mini and then pop flashing the site players towards heaven. So the goal here is to play a little bit slower, spread out, get some intel towards ramp, get some intel towards outside, see what the CTs are doing first, maybe get a pick, and then later in the round, play for the A execute. So once again, we're going to be up on the roof, throwing our nades to initiate the take for our teammates. Alright, so from T-spawn, once again we're going to shoot both the right and left windows at the beginning of the round to open them up. The left side windows are going to be where we're going to pop flash. We're then going to push up to the roof, then head over to the left side of T-roof behind these HVAC units. You're going to hop up on the railing at the spot that I do, and then you're going to look over towards the ladder to drop into lobby. You're going to aim up towards the pipe on your left, and then you're going to throw a grenade at the crosshair spot shown on screen. That grenade is going to fly past the first set of windows and open up the hidden back set of windows that you can really only see when you jump from near the ladder room. Those back set of windows will enable us to throw a smoke grenade that will bounce through and land inside of the mini walkway, blocking off mini garage. To line that up, you're going to aim at the yellow door in front of you right next to the ladder. Now the crosshair positioning here is a little bit weird. You're going to have to kind of find a tell that works for you because everyone's crosshair is different. But try and aim where I'm at on screen. And the thing you're looking for height-wise is to be slightly higher than that silver metal plate on the door to your left. That's your height reference. Then be in the middle of the edge of this door frame. And then it's going to be a jump throw. The nade sails, it goes straight through, bonks off the window, and then lands perfectly inside of mini garage. You're then going to jump onto the HVAC unit in front of you and aim at the white strip of paint on the wall down low towards the concrete. Then you're going to jump throw with your flashbang. It's going to sail through the window above you and pop flash players on Heaven, on site below Silo, players standing Mustang, and if the top hut player is watching for players to exit lobby, they will also be blind. It will not blind players that are too close to the vents or mini. Keep that in mind. Those players will not be flashed by this. This is purely for the Heaven side of site so that your players can exit hut and get onto the site. Keep that in mind. So the goal is to take it simple. Mini is now isolated. You just pop flash your teammates out hut. They can get out and duel for the site control. One issue you might see though is that obviously there's no Molotov for top hut in this setup. You could throw it, but it would be relatively late compared to the smoke at the flash. And this is where, some things have to be sacrificed. You can't throw everything from the same position all the time. You sometimes have to rely on maybe your friends, your teammates, the players you're grouped with. But if you're a solo player, you just might not have access to the Molotov in that situation. So just keep that in mind that when you exit onto the A site, you need to clear the top hut position in some way. The pop flash helps with that. Unfortunately, you're kind of relying on another teammate to be able to throw that Molotov for you if that is the case. What's so nice about this, however, is that the pop flash allows you to take the duel with the player on site behind Silo and Heaven really quickly. Normally, you would rely on that being smoked, but instead we're going to swing, take the aim duel on the player's site, and there might not even be a player that Heaven this late in the round because it's usually the place that CTs rotate to in the post plant this late in the round. That gives you time for players to use another smoke to smoke Heaven from inside of the A site instead of having it already smoked as in our pistol strat. This isolates mini, gives you time to get the site control and get the plant. Now obviously this is just scratching the surface of what Nuke has to offer as we're only talking about one of its bomb sites, but that's the beauty of the map. It's incredibly complex. You can play it simply and just push for outside or ramp control, or you can get into the nitty gritty, learn some fantastic setups, and really open up the map with some of the best utility in the entire game. Hopefully you guys find these strats useful in your games. Let me know in the comments down below if you make use of them, as well as some of your favorite setups on Nuke as well. I'll be reading all those comments. Make sure you come check me out on my stream, twitch.tv/LionHeartZ1337, every single night, starting between 8 and 8:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I hope to see you there. Other than that, I hope you guys have a great day, and I'll see you soon with another video.